Venezuelan people taking over Humboldt Park in Chicago for a celebration. Streets closed off, traffic non-stop.
Have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All stairwells are filled. Nothing further is unclear. Hey, I'm sorry. Are you headed over to the ShotSpotter or to the 6124 on King for the migrants?
On King Drive.
All right, 10-4. If there's another available unit to drive
Like. But this ain't Colorado. This ain't Utah. This ain't none of them places. This is just like where you from. The only difference is y'all use a lot of hand.
It looks like the crap is about to hit the fan. I mean, you've got people in Aurora, Colorado, Venezuelan migrants holding up these mouse traps of dead rats, basically signaling to anybody out there that if you rat anybody out, then, well, I guess you guys pretty much figured that out. And of course, you've got this little bit from Tim Pool, who gave some commentary on the situation. Let me just kind of run this for you guys.
Throw with a gun. The bullets go through the door. I am not exaggerating. If these guys out there, these Venezuelans in Chicago, whatever your gang is, you be warned, man. Chicago is not Colorado.
We'll talk about switches and what's actually going to happen in this situation and why it is that these people are not as prepared as they think they are. So make sure you guys stick around for the full bit. But we've got to talk about the migrant situation, the migrant crisis, the Venezuelan portion of it, because obviously gangs are running rampant. Now, guys, if you've been paying attention to the channel for the past week, then you will know that I have released 2 videos in the past week, one today on the situation in Aurora, Colorado. And, of course, Savannah Hernandez, she got some more footage from what's going on there. And one of the apartment complexes, one of the apartments. And, of course, you guys can see exactly how it looks and what's going on there. Apparently, bullet holes were in the wall, stuff like that there. That's what the people were telling Savannah and the Frontlines crew. But the thing is this right here. The situation in Aurora, as bad as it is, pales in comparison to the situation in Chicago. Now, guys, this video right here is going to be a relatively lengthy one. I did not want it to be that lengthy. As you guys know, I'm trying to shorten up the times in the video, but I'm going to try to be as quick and concise as I can be and provide all the context that you guys need to know exactly why it was the situation got the way it is. Now, before we get started, make sure you guys click on the notifications for the channel so that way you guys are notified when the video is released. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you guys are new here. Let's make this channel grow. Let's beat the censorship, and let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I don't want to harp too much on Aurora, but if you've watched the past couple of videos I've done on this topic, then you will know that right now in Aurora, Colorado, suburb of Denver, you have Venezuelan gangs running around armed, robbing people, stealing stuff, and of course, they're playing the intimidation game. I'll leave both videos in the description box, and they'll both be in the end card of this video here for you guys to check them out. I advise you guys watch the first one, the one with the lady's face and the actual thumbnail first. But the thing is this right here. In the state of Colorado, while it is definitely turning more and more and more into a liberal place, and there is AR-15 bans, the state for the most part still allows people to, and if you're from Colorado, please correct me if I'm wrong, if anything's changed here recently, but last I checked, people were still allowed to practice their Second Amendment rights, whereas in a place like, say, Chicago, you're pretty much not allowed to do so. Yes, I know, worst murder rate, worst crime rate in the country, yet and worst shooter rate in the country, as the shootings are ridiculous there. They have extreme, rampant, hardcore levels of gun control, but yet, of course, they try to lecture us on why it is us gun owners and us pro-Second Amendment people are have to turn our guns and crap like that, which, of course, we won't, but still at the same time, as you guys can see, gun control does not exactly work when it comes to crime. The thing that I'm trying to get to is that people in Aurora, Colorado, while it is that they may not be allowed to own an AR-15, well, actually, they are allowed to own an AR-15. They're just, it's a shelf ban is what it is. They can't go purchase a brand new one. They are still at least allowed to own their firearms and defend their homes. If you're from Colorado, if I got something wrong, please leave a comment in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys have got to say if anything has changed recently. Whereas in Chicago, Illinois, you practically are not allowed to practice your Second Amendment rights. And of course, as if I didn't say it already before, it's the worst crime rate, worst murder rate, worst shooting rate in the country. There's a reason why these people report on Chicago shootings. And they have a rampant gun control. Like, you're practically not allowed to defend your own home in the city of Chicago. What I'm trying to get across is that while Chicago is definitely Chirac, there is a reason why it is that Aurora, Colorado, especially having a Republican mayor, who, by the way, is also an Army veteran and a combat veteran, might be a little bit better off than the city of Chicago. But I will get to that more so on the other side of the initial reporting on the story, which, by the way, this is a story that has not gone national, but of course we need to make it national. Let me play this first bit.
It's hard to know what is or is not true, so I say this all with a grain of salt. I'm not familiar with Shore News Network. There's another website called Newsdrum. These are allegations. A video posted by Libs of TikTok from crimeisdown.com. It's a video of what they say is a 911 dispatch call. What I can say to this story is we have another video from a man allegedly from Chicago. I believe he likely is, saying, "This ain't Colorado. We got switches." I just want to tell you, the big story in Colorado is that Venezuelan gangs are taking over buildings. Armed gangs are shaking people down for protection or protection money. They're going door to door and demanding cash from residents. They've taken it over. There's been reports beyond this one that in Chicago, similar things are happening. I want to give a friendly warning to all of these illegal immigrants in Chicago. You ain't seen nothing. Don't do it. This guy's not wrong. I'll play this video in a second, but please.
Okay, now, obviously, I had to edit some of that out. I'll link the full episode in the description box for you guys because, look, the Beanie guy, I got some differences with him, but of course, I still listen to him from time to time. And of course, he is from Chicago. And of course, he's going to come back and talk about the situation a little bit more. Now, you've got gang members posting to TikTok talking about, in Chicago, we have switches, all that type of stuff there. But as far as what I want you to do, I want you to go to Twitter, and I want you to just look up Second Amendment gun fails, and you'll notice a correlation. You will notice a correlation. Now, I'm not making any hand gestures at this moment in time because one of those TikToks is playing here, the B-roll footage. But I want you guys to know something really quick. Some of these Venezuelan gang members, some of these are connected to the Venezuelan military. Some of them are connected to cartels. And some of these people have been trained. Okay? Now, the reason why I bring that up is because this gangster culture where you have your pistol and you're pointing it sideways, stuff like that, that ain't going to cut it. By the way, a switch, when we'll be talking about a switch here a little bit later on, I don't see that's going to help in this situation if you can't properly aim the damn pistol to defend yourself. By the way, YouTube, to the Google gods, I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that. I'm just simply giving commentary on a situation that is going on in a city, and I'm trying to be as fair and as unbiased as possible. So please, whatever you do, do not strike this video. However, speaking of that said video and that said individual who posted a TikTok about switches and, let's just go ahead and play some of this.
This guy saying Venezuelans in Chicago. Okay, this is. I've been hearing stuff about this. The gangs in Chicago. I mean, they'll kill you for looking at them the wrong way. There are some gangs in Chicago that in order to join the gang, you got to kill someone for no reason at all. And the cops don't want to go in these areas. There are parts of Chicago where when you drive down the street, on each street corner, you've got 20 gangbangers armed, waving guns. Where I grew up, there were numerous shootings. Fight at my high school, guy pulls out a gun. But I'm not sure if what the language is, so just so you know, there might be swearing.
To all Venezuelans in Chicago, this is the warning. If you ain't on no bullshit, stay neutral. Somebody please translate. Stay neutral. If you know somebody that's in your building on bullshit, don't let them run in that building, and don't let nobody see them run in that building. Because once word get out that that's the building that they in, they gonna chop that bitch down.
So this man on TikTok does say he is from Chicago.
Yes, Tim, we know this, okay? I understand you're from Chicago. I'm not saying this to make fun of you or anything, but of course we're going to be talking about the city here shortly again. But the point is this right here. If you didn't pay very close attention, yeah, they're actually going out there in Aurora, Colorado with mousetraps holding dead rats. It doesn't seem to me like these people are intimidated. It seems to me like these people are highly interested in overtaking neighborhoods. But let's continue.
Building,
I think he's from Chicago.
Y'all occupying and all that shit. Yeah, you better get your food and just stay in the house. Because they come out doing some bullshit. Y'all gonna regret that. You're gonna really regret that. So, I don't speak Spanish. So somebody need to translate. I hope they got TikTok that translate, I guess. They can kind of make me seem like I'm speaking Spanish. But anyway, take this like a grain of salt if you like. But this ain't
Okay, it sounds to me like my man is prepared for a gang war, or at least he thinks he is. But like I said, we'll get to switches and stuff here in a second. And I'll give you, once again, the consensus of why it is. I don't think these people are prepared at all for what the hell is coming. But the thing that I want to say is this right here, and I think that this is very important, okay? And this right here needs to be said before we go any further. We got to ask ourselves a question. How in the world did we get to this? Okay, so for the past year and a half, we've had this migrant crisis, really past 2 years. And of course, the migrant crisis has been affecting primarily the city of Chicago and the city of New York, also Denver, Colorado as well. But the thing you got to understand is that there's already been tensions for over a year going on between black people, some white people, even some Hispanics who live there, and some of the migrants that have been brought back in, or some of the migrants that were brought across, because Brandon Johnson, of course, wants to keep Chicago a sanctuary city. Let's go back in time and look at some of that.
And do citizens of the United States of America come first?
On the southwest side, city officials getting an earful.
How about this? Give them all these politicians' addresses and put them in their backyards, in their basements, in their houses.
This meeting at Richard J. Daley College comes as the city, starting as early as this weekend, prepares to use this gymnasium until August 1st, and 2 auxiliary classrooms on the campus through the end of November to shelter more than 400 migrants.
This is about being human and providing humane spaces for them.
I serve my country. We need to give these immigrants a chance.
But the debate igniting anger about how the city for decades has treated its poor.
We do not take care of our own people.
There's no resources taken from our shelter system and the housing within our shelter system, as well as outreach agencies who are providing services on the street.
This gathering comes a day after the city council at a heated meeting approved $51 million in emergency migrant funding. That money only expected to last through the end of this month.
You speak.
We cannot continue to falsely pit communities against one another.
Deep emotional wounds coming to the surface.
As black people who have been hurt continuously by the city and country it loves, it ain't our responsibility to take care of everybody else.
And anger.
We don't want to have to recall anybody. We don't want to have to protest anybody, but we are not going to be ignored, Brandon. Mayor Johnson.
Many in Chicago's black community and the city council speaking out against spending $51 million to house migrants, asking when will the help for them finally become a reality.
And it cannot be put on the backs of the residents of Chicago without showing them that they're getting something out of this.
Mayor Brandon Johnson, presiding over his second full city council meeting, had to ask for calm more than once.
Will the Sergeant of Arms please restore some order?
Police also intervening at one point to allow the
taxpayers are not okay with certain people being moved into their neighborhoods, using their facilities, and also to go on top of this, like you guys have seen in the case of New York City, they're not okay with these people getting debit cards and basically sucking off the taxpayer. By the way, like I've said before, these people take the benefits from the taxpayer, they collect money on the side, they hang on to it until they get out, and they're automatically better off than the people who live in the communities. Now, you're probably thinking that is smart, and guess what? It is smart, and it's something, if I was in a situation, I'd be taking advantage of too. And of course, you're probably thinking these people did in fact vote for it, and I'm here to tell you right now, they did vote for it, which is part of the reason why it is. I'm going to make fun of them for not being ready for what the hell is coming. Some of these people at some of these town meetings absolutely just went out of their way to threaten violence towards the migrants that were coming in. Now, like I said before, I'm not siding with the migrants at all. I think they should be gone. I think they should be back across where they're from. They shouldn't be here, okay? That right there alone is going to go ahead and limit the ads on the video. But the fact of the matter is this right here. The current party, the current Democratic Party, they invited this mess in. And they're probably not going to do anything to fix this issue. If anything, they're probably going to side with the migrants afterwards because the migrants are the brand new voting base. And given the fact that these people are natural enemies, that really should have told you a long time ago that this situation was not going to work out. And of course, this has identity politics on steroids. However, it's an extremely dangerous form of identity politics, and you could very, very well see it get hot. But like I said before, this video right here was primarily to focus on the differences between the Aurora situation and the Chicago situation. Well, let's get back to that, and trust me, it'll all make a lot of sense to you.
But this ain't Colorado. This ain't Utah. This ain't none of them places.
Not California.
This is just like where you from.
It's worse.
The only difference is y'all use a lot of handgun, old revolvers, and machetes and shit. We got switches.
Full auto pistols.
Switches. If you're not familiar with what a switch is, we will show you.
Holy crap.
We don't really be with all the telling and shit. But we will definitely show you what a switch is.
You hear switches, which, by the way, are just attachments to a pistol, to a Glock, to make it automatic. Which, by the way, if you're going to have an automatic pistol, you better know how to operate it. You better know how to keep the weapon stable, or else you're just going to be spraying and you ain't going to hit nothing like the broadside of a barn. Like I said before, if you go on X, you go on Twitter, and you see these Second Amendment fails, you'll see these people basically pointing their guns and stuff like this right here. And I mean, don't even get me started on this. One of the reasons why it is that if a military went into an actual city, it wouldn't do a whole bit of good, especially if you're the opposing side to the military, because chances are you probably can't shoot. You have the advantage of terrain. You have the advantage, of course, of alleyways and stuff like that. But still, at the same time, though, you probably wouldn't last too long against these people. Now, are these people getting hit with a massive invading army? Well, it definitely feels that way. However, the situation in Aurora, Colorado, it seems to me with their mayor, it seems to me the fact that they can at least defend their homes. If the situation did, in fact, get hot, the handcuffs would be pulled off the people, and they probably would be allowed to defend their homes. Where it is in Chicago, you have a mayor who is actively on the side of the Venezuelans and a governor who, by the way, is actively on the side of the Venezuelans. Congratulations, Chicago liberals. You voted for your own demise. You voted for this chaos. And I'm just simply here to tell you that you are not equipped to be able to handle what the hell is coming your way, regardless of what Tim Pool says. Gang life violence is a little bit different when everything gets kind of hot. You're talking about actual, honest-to-God, street gang wars here is what the hell you're looking at if the situation gets hot. And guess what? The side that happens to have the government on its side, which, by the way, at this moment in time, they kind of sort of do, the side that's actually armed, the side that's actually getting all the sympathy in the media, they're ones who typically tend to win. And that's probably what the hell they're relying on before they go full-blown hot in Chicago. Now, was that to say that these Venezuelan gangs are just going to roll over and just destroy the Chicago gangs? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if the situation gets hot, it's going to get pretty daggone ugly, and you might not want to be overconfident about the situation, especially given the track record that is the city of Chicago, but especially given the track record of the current mayor that you voted into office and the current governor that you voted into office, and given the current president who's still sitting on a beach that you voted into office. This right is a story that, quite frankly, I'm probably going to have to come back to. I'm probably got to do a bit of a report on a little bit later on, so make sure you guys stick around because we're probably going to be coming back to this story once it gets national. With that right there being said, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Also, something else to share the video, turn on the notifications, so that way you guys are notified when the videos come out. I'll see you guys later.